KEF-9 adjusted his bioluminescent training harness for the third time, the soft purple glow pulsing with barely contained smugness. 300 cycles of combat instruction across 17 different species, and not once had he failed to break a new recruit. Today would be no different, despite the unusual circumstances. So, he clicked through his translator, mandibles twitching with amusement. The Galactic Council expects me to train a human. The word rolled off his tongue like a joke. A creature from a Class 12 Deathworld who somehow convinced the bureaucrats she belongs in our elite forces. The other instructors gathered around the observation platform, their various appendages, tentacles, and sensory organs focused on the training arena below. Vex Prime, a crystalline being whose species had mastered energy manipulation eons ago, shimmered with what could only be described as anticipation. The betting pools are quite active today, Vex Prime noted, his voice resonating like wind chimes in a storm. Current odds are 50 to 1 against the human lasting more than 10 minutes. 50 to 1? KEF-9's compound eyes widened. That's generous. I've seen the preliminary reports. Humans are barely evolved primates who somehow stumbled into space travel. No natural armor, no energy projection capabilities, no psionic abilities, no redundant organs. They're essentially walking meat sacks held together by wishful thinking. The arena doors hissed open, and Maya Thompson stepped through. KEF-9 blinked. All four of his primary eyes, then his secondary ones, then even his tertiary optical sensors did a complete recalibration. This was their feared Deathworlder? She looked like she might blow away in a gentle breeze. Standing barely 6 feet tall, with soft pink skin that looked like it would tear if you looked at it wrong, and those bizarre forward-facing eyes that suggested a species too dumb to watch for predators from all directions. That's it? KEF-9's voice cracked slightly. That's what all the fuss is about. Maya looked around the arena with those unsettling binocular eyes, taking in the advanced holographic projectors, the gravity manipulation fields, and the various alien spectators with what appeared to be boredom. Nice setup, she said, her voice carrying that flat, unimpressed tone that humans seem to perfect. Very shiny. Very impressive. I bet it cost more than my planet's entire defense budget. KEF-9 descended to the arena floor, his 8 legs carrying him in what he considered an intimidating display of predatory grace. His exoskeleton gleamed under the arena lights, each segment designed by millions of years of evolution to strike fear into prey species. Human Maya Thompson, he announced, his voice amplified by the arena's sound system. I am Combat Instructor KEF-9, veteran of the Siege of Altair, survivor of the Void Wars, and holder of 17 different martial honors. I have trained warriors from across the galaxy, and I have never had a student who could not be improved through proper application of pain and humility. Maya stretched, her joints making small popping sounds that made several observers wince. That's a really long way of saying you like to beat up your students. We have a word for that back home. Today, KEF-9 continued, ignoring the interruption, you will learn why humans do not belong among the elite forces of civilized species. You will learn respect for your betters. And you will learn that evolution has limits that cannot be overcome by mere enthusiasm. Are you done? Maya asked, checking what appeared to be a primitive chronometer on her wrist. Because I have a lunch appointment, and I'd hate to keep my friends waiting. The audacity. The sheer, breathtaking audacity of this creature. KEF-9's bioluminescence flared to angry orange. Combat protocols initiated, the arena's AI announced. Non-lethal engagement parameters active. Medical teams on standby. KEF-9 activated his combat harness, feeling the familiar surge as his exoskeleton's enhancement systems came online. Strength amplifiers, reaction boosters, tactical analysis networks, all the technological marvels that made him one of the most feared instructors in the galaxy. Maya cracked her knuckles. Oh, this is going to be educational, she muttered. The arena fell silent except for the subtle hum of advanced technology and the soft breathing of various alien life forms. Tension crackled through the air like static electricity before a storm. HFY struck first, because of course he did. 300 cycles of combat experience had taught him that overwhelming force applied immediately was the key to breaking new recruits. His enhanced exoskeleton propelled him forward at speeds that would make most species' eyes water. His razor-sharp forearms extended for a non-lethal but thoroughly humiliating takedown. Maya stepped sideways, not quickly. Not dramatically. She just stepped. As if she was avoiding a puddle on the sidewalk, HFY sailed past her and crashed into the arena wall with a sound like a shuttlecraft hitting an asteroid. Huh, Maya observed. Physics still works the same everywhere, apparently. The arena erupted in confused chittering, clicking, and various other sounds of alien bewilderment. In the observation deck, Vexprime's crystalline structure flickered rapidly, his species equivalent of nervous laughter. HFY extracted himself from the wall, his pride considerably more damaged than his exoskeleton. Lucky, he hissed. Simple luck. Sure, Maya agreed cheerfully. Let's go with that. Round 2 began with HFY being considerably more cautious. He circled his opponent, using his superior reach and multiple limbs to probe for weaknesses. Maya stood in the center of the arena, turning slowly to keep him in view, her hands hanging loose at her sides. You know, she said conversationally, I've been reading up on your species. Fascinating evolutionary path. 8 legs for stability, compound eyes for threat detection, natural armor plating. You guys really went all in on the don't get eaten strategy. HFY feinted left, then struck right with blinding speed. Maya wasn't there. She was behind him, somehow, tapping him gently on what his species considered their vulnerable back section. Boo, she said. He spun around, all 8 legs scrambling for purchase, and found her standing exactly where she'd been before. That's impossible, he stammered. The biometric sensors show you never moved faster than a casual walk. That's because I didn't, Maya explained patiently. See, there's this thing humans do. We call it thinking. It's when you use your brain to predict what's going to happen instead of just reacting to what already happened. Very handy skill. You should try it sometime. The observation deck had gone completely silent. Even the ambient hum of life support systems seemed muted. HFY's training took over, suppressing his confusion and focusing on what he knew. Combat. Violence. The application of superior force to achieve dominance. He activated every enhancement his harness possessed, feeling the familiar burn as combat stimulants flooded his system. He attacked with the fury of a solar storm, his limbs moving in patterns too fast for most organic eyes to follow. Each strike was calculated, precise, designed to incapacitate without permanent damage. It was a display of martial artistry that had taken him decades to perfect. Maya caught his wrist, not blocked. Not deflected. Caught. As if he'd offered to shake hands. Nice technique, she said, studying his trapped limb with scientific interest. Very complex. Lots of moving parts. Must have taken forever to learn. HFY tried to pull free. His enhanced exoskeleton strained against her grip, servos whining with effort. Maya's expression didn't change. The thing about complex techniques, she continued, still holding his wrist in what appeared to be a completely relaxed grip, is that they have a lot of failure points. And the thing about failure points is, she twisted, HFY's combat harness sparked, then died completely. Emergency systems kicked in as his enhancement network crashed in a cascade of overloaded circuits. They fail, Maya finished. She released him, and he stumbled backward, suddenly feeling the full weight of his own exoskeleton without technological assistance. How? He whispered. Maya shrugged. Pressure point. Right where your nervous system interfaces with your tech. We humans are really good at finding weak spots. Comes from being small and squishy on a world where everything else was bigger and had more teeth. In the observation deck, someone started a slow clap. Others joined in. Soon the entire arena was filled with the sound of various alien appendages creating rhythmic percussion in appreciation of what they just witnessed. Kef-9 looked around at his colleagues, his students, his carefully cultivated reputation crumbling like a sand castle in a tsunami. Maya checked her chronometer again. Well, this has been fun, but I really do have that lunch appointment. Are we done here, or did you want me to explain some more basic concepts? I could go over leverage next, or maybe we could discuss why assuming your opponent is stupid just because they're different is generally a bad tactical decision. The arena fell silent again, but this time it was the silence of a group collectively holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The silence stretched like a rubber band about to snap. Kef-9 stood there, his disabled combat harness sparking occasionally, looking like someone had just explained quantum mechanics to a particularly slow rock. This is not over, he finally managed, his voice shaking with what his species called wounded pride, but what everyone else recognized as barely contained panic. Maya raised an eyebrow. It's not. Because from where I'm standing, it looks pretty over. Your fancy tech suit is dead, you're breathing hard, and I haven't even broken a sweat. But hey, if you want to continue this educational experience, I'm game. Vex Prime leaned forward on the observation platform, his crystalline form refracting the arena lights into rainbow patterns. This is unprecedented. The human has neutralized our most advanced training equipment with what appears to be basic anatomy knowledge. Don't forget the thinking part, Maya called up cheerfully. That was important too. Kef-9's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sound his species made when calculating odds and not liking the results. You caught me off guard. That will not happen again. I challenge you to actual combat. No tricks. No technological failures. Pure skill against skill. Oh, honey, Maya sighed, and there was something in her tone that made every predatory instinct in the arena suddenly pay very close attention. You really don't want to do that. I am a veteran of 17 campaigns, Kef-9 snarled. I have faced creatures that would tear your soft flesh from your fragile bones without a second thought. I have survived battles that would drive lesser species insane with terror. I will not be humiliated by a barely evolved primate from some backwater death world. Maya's expression didn't change, but something shifted in the air. The temperature seemed to drop several degrees, though the arena's climate control systems showed no malfunction. Okay, she said quietly. But I tried to warn you. She moved, not the casual, almost lazy movements from before. This time, Maya moved like water, like lightning, like something that shouldn't exist in a universe governed by physics. She flowed around Kef-9's desperate attempts at defense, her movements precise and economical. The first blow took out his right primary leg, a strike so perfectly placed that his exoskeleton cracked along its weakest point. The second shattered his left secondary arm, the sound echoing through the arena like a gunshot. The third never came. Maya stood perfectly still, her fist stopped mere inches from Kef-9's main sensory cluster. Close enough that he could feel the heat radiating from her skin, close enough to count the strange patterns in her forward-facing eyes. I could kill you right now, she said conversationally. With about as much effort as it takes me to swat a fly. Your exoskeleton has 17 major structural weak points, your nervous system has 3 primary nodes that can be disrupted with minimal pressure, and your respiratory system can be completely shut down by applying force to exactly the right spot behind your third thoracic segment. Kef-9 tried to speak, but only managed a strangled wheeze. But here's the thing, Maya continued, still holding her fist in that perfect striking position. Killing you would be pointless. It wouldn't prove anything except that humans can be just as stupid and violent as any other species in the galaxy. And honestly, that's not much of an achievement. She stepped back, lowering her hand. Besides, she added with that infuriating human smile, I really do have a lunch appointment. In the observation deck, someone started hyperventilating. It might have been Vex Prime, though with crystalline beings it was hard to tell. Admiral Vex-9, the station commander, materialized in the arena through an emergency transport beam, his 8-foot frame casting a long shadow across the training floor. His species, the Morduan, were known throughout the galaxy for their tactical brilliance and their complete inability to understand humor. "What," he demanded in a voice that could strip paint from starship hulls, "is going on here?" Maya turned to face him, and for the first time since entering the arena, she actually looked interested. "Admiral Thex, 9, I presume. I've read about your tactical innovations during the Centauri incident. Very impressive work." The Admiral's 4 arms crossed in what was either a display of authority or a defensive posture. "Human Maya Thompson. Your performance here today has been irregular." "That's one word for it," Maya agreed. "I prefer educational. Your people seem to have some interesting misconceptions about my species." "Such as?" Maya gestured toward Kef, 9, who was still trying to process what had happened to his worldview. "Well, for starters, you seem to think that being from a dangerous world makes us dangerous because we're primitive and savage. That's backwards thinking." "Explain." "Dangerous worlds don't create savage species, Admiral. They create smart ones. Every single day of human evolution was a test. Not just physical survival, but mental adaptation. We didn't develop big claws or thick armor or energy projection abilities. We developed something much more useful." "Which is?" Maya tapped her temple. "Pattern recognition. Problem solving. The ability to look at something bigger, stronger, and more dangerous than us and figure out how to kill it anyway. We got really, really good at finding the weak spots in things that should have been able to squash us without effort." The Admiral's tactical mind was clearly working overtime, processing implications and probabilities. "You are suggesting that your species' weakness became your strength." "I'm not suggesting it. I'm stating it as fact. Every predator on Earth that was bigger than us is either extinct or in a zoo. Every disease that tried to wipe us out became a vaccination. Every natural disaster that should have destroyed us became a construction standard. We don't adapt to challenges, Admiral. We solve them." Kef, 9 finally found his voice. But the preliminary report said humans were weak. Fragile. Limited." Maya laughed, and the sound sent shivers through every alien in hearing range. "Oh, we are fragile. Incredibly fragile. Do you know what the difference is between a human and most other sapient species?" She waited for an answer that didn't come. "When you get hurt, your natural instincts tell you to stop, retreat, wait for healing, avoid further damage. When humans get hurt, our natural instincts tell us to get angry and figure out how to hurt back. We don't have redundant organs or healing factors or natural armor. So we learn to fight through damage that would incapacitate most species. We learn to keep going when logic says we should give up." The arena had gone so quiet that the hum of the air recycling system sounded like thunder. "During our early space exploration," Maya continued, "we had a saying, failure is not an option. Do you know why we said that?" Admiral Thex, 9 shook his massive head. "Because for humans, failure usually meant extinction. We couldn't afford to fail. So we got really good at not failing, even when the odds were impossible. Especially when the odds were impossible." She looked around the arena, making eye contact with various alien species, her gaze lingering on each face for just long enough to make them uncomfortable. "You want to know what makes humans dangerous? It's not our strength or our speed or our technology. It's the fact that we're the only species in the galaxy that looks at impossible odds and thinks, challenge accepted." Maya checked her chronometer one final time. "And now, gentlemen, I really must go. My lunch companions are expecting me, and humans have this thing about punctuality. Thank you for the workout, Instructor Kef, 9. This has been genuinely educational." She headed toward the arena exit, then paused and looked back. "Oh, and Admiral? You might want to recalibrate those preliminary reports. They seemed to be missing some rather important data points. As the arena doors hissed shut behind her, the assembled aliens stood in stunned silence, each processing what they had witnessed in their own way. Vex Prime was the first to speak. "I believe," he said slowly, "that we may have significantly underestimated the tactical implications of recruiting humans." Admiral Thex 9 nodded grimly. "Cancel all current training protocols for human recruits. We need to develop entirely new procedures." "Based on what parameters?" asked Kef 9, still trying to understand how his universe had been turned upside down in the space of 30 minutes. The Admiral's tactical mind was already working, processing possibilities and probabilities, calculating the strategic value of a species that treated impossible odds as personal challenges. "Based on the assumption," he said slowly, "that everything we thought we knew about warfare just became obsolete." In the distance, alarms began sounding as the station's AI detected what it classified as a significant paradigm shift in galactic military doctrine. Maya Thompson was probably already at lunch, discussing the morning's events with her fellow human recruits, completely unaware that she had just changed the course of galactic history, again.